The Tampa Bay Buccaneers had a dominant win over the Carolina Panthers and now control their destiny to winning the NFC South and going to the playoffs. My name is Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down this Tampa Bay Buccaneers Week 18 matchup as they host the New Orleans Saints. But before we get into that, if you like the content that we put out and want to see a lot more, be sure to subscribe to the Trades You Take, tackle that bell to get notified, and also, while you're at it, leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think will win and why. And Ryan, we are recording this right after the Sunday night football game. You can all tell who I was rooting for, and it was not the outcome that I was wanting. So for Tampa Bay fans, you guys now control your destiny as the Falcons lost to the Washington Commanders in overtime on Sunday night football. And you guys look super dominant against Carolina Panthers. I think offensively, this is probably one of the better Tampa Bay Buccaneers teams since you guys won the Super Bowl over these past 5 years. Wade Baker Mayfield has been clicking. Mike Evans is, I think, about 90-ish yards away from another 1,000-yard season. I feel very confident that he is going to hit that number against this New Orleans Saints team.
Yes.
But I think the biggest thing, though, on why I personally feel you guys are more deserving of the playoff spot is you guys have a weaker secondary, yes, but you guys front seven, I think, is better. You guys have a great run stuffing defense. Your guys' run offense has been phenomenal. You guys are in all categories, third overall in total yards of offense, third overall in passing yards, fourth overall in rushing yards. That's just like that's why I think this team is going to be so successful. I think can make a legitimate push to the playoffs. And if you guys end up being the 4 seed and end up playing either Minnesota or Detroit, it's going to be a phenomenal matchup if you guys end up going on. But with this game, though, you got to take it one step at a time. Going against New Orleans here, and it really is. It's very easy and fun to make fun of Spencer Rattler, but I kind of want to throw him like a life raft. It is really hard to judge how good Spencer Rattler could be with the New Orleans Saints team that is currently out there. He's playing with a JV squad, really. I think at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about this in the last week's preview for the Saints Raiders game, and like just the amount of just major injuries that they've had to key offensive contributors, and then not to mention like Alvin Kamara, Derek Carr, both of them have been out the last few weeks as well. So like Spencer Rattler has really had to step up and play with. I mean, backups, especially against a team like Tampa, who's really been finding their stride lately. They've won now 5 out of their last 6 from what I can see on the schedule. So they're really hitting their stride here late in the season. This team has just steadily been improving all year. And so that's just a really tough matchup for a team who is really just struggling to stay afloat right now with all of the injuries that they've had. And so it's been especially too, you look at the first 2 games for the Saints, it's been a really rough season for them. But hopefully they can come back next year and be healthy. They are currently, I believe, 10th in the draft order.
Yeah, but they're 10th, but they're the worst cap space team again.
Yeah,
going into the offseason. So it'll be interesting to see what moves they have to make on how to improve this team. And I almost wondered too with the new head coach coming in. I wonder if the Saints just kind of blow it up.
Start over.
Yeah, but that's what we've been saying on this channel now for 4 or 5 years, and they clearly don't listen to us. But I think when it comes to this game specifically, though, Spencer Rattler's going to have to turn into that 5-star recruit, I feel, and just going to have to somehow will this team to like a shocking victory on the road. Because if there is one weakness for this Tampa Bay team, it is the secondary. They are banged up. Antoine Winfield once again didn't play. And I even think too, did Jamal Dean also get hurt as well?
Yeah, he's questionable for the January 5th matchup.
Yeah. So it's just another secondary member that has gone down for Tampa Bay. Luckily for Tampa Bay, though, Chris Olave's been out, Rashid Shaheed's been out, Taysom Hill is out, Bub Means has been out. All their star players have been out for this New Orleans. So the passing game, that's going to be one of the things that I think New Orleans maybe could have an opportunity to maybe get some passing yards, but at the same time, though, too, will he have enough time with this offensive line to try and block Vita Vea, Yaya Diaby, and the rest of this front seven from Tampa Bay? Because they are the ones that really get after it. It's also really funny, too, seeing Vita Vea there next to like all these grown, because he makes these grown athlete men like look tiny.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's just so big. But it's going to be really fun and it's going to. I have my prediction here, and I'll say it here in a second. Even though if you probably couldn't already tell, it's going to be fun seeing Baker Mayfield do another playoff push. Even as a Falcons fan, I hate going up against him because he's a guy you just kind of want to root for. Like his whole journey, even going back to high school, and how he's gotten to him here now. He's a locker room guy that you want. He's got a great connection with Mike Evans. Him and Jalen McMillan. I think they connected on 3 touchdowns today. Also, um, Jalen McMillan here,
Yeah.
2
He had a
only
really
2,
good day.
only 2 touchdowns. So let's not
Yeah,
get
that's right. Yeah.
overexcited about Jalen McMillan's performance. It was just 2 touchdowns today. Not really that great, but I'm obviously just playing. But the Panthers are like the worst defense in the league, and the Saints are just slightly above them. So I expect a very similar performance here at home. I think the cannons are going to be shooting off for Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mike Evans hits 1,000 receiving yards again, tying the streak for consecutive 1,000-yard seasons in a row. And then you guys send me home packing, where I now have to watch you guys playing the football playoffs. So
Yeah.
it should be good.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bucks also. This is just a better team right now.
Yeah.
This is not a team I really want to play. I mean, defensively, they're hard to run against. You have to have good wide receivers to take advantage of this secondary. You have to be able to pass block really well. And then on the offensive side of the ball, they can really hang with anybody. If they show up and have a good day, they're one of the best offenses in the league. Like they're pretty hard to stop. Bucky Irving has added a whole nother dimension to this offense, and I believe he is now 1,000-yard rusher on the season. The ESPN stats have not fully updated just yet, but he's had a fantastic season in his rookie year down there. Rashad White is still a good back as well. This offensive line is playing well. This wide receiving group, even with the loss of Chris Godwin, is still playing at a really high level. And so I think this Buccaneers team is a force to be reckoned with, I think, going into the playoffs. And I think nothing changes here as they put a beat down on the Saints to kind of close out the year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, especially then too, it's going to be a fascinating game if it is Detroit or Minnesota. I think it's going to be even more fascinating if it's Detroit, because if you kind of look at it, they're almost kind of the same team. You know, they struggle in the secondary. Statistically, they're one of the worst passing defenses both in the league. Tampa Bay is at 30th, and Detroit is not too far ahead of them at 28th. Run defense wise, Detroit's 4th, Tampa Bay's 5th. You go look at the offensive stats. Detroit is a spot ahead of them in total yards of passing, while just 2 spots back from rushing. Like, the teams are almost the same. Even their stories of the quarterbacks, where it's their second or it's their multiple team that they've been on. They have like a stud star receiver, but then younger, good talent around them, strong offensive line, strong defensive lines. Those 2 teams, I think, would be fascinating. And we've already seen them actually play in the second season,
Yeah.
but in week 2, the second week of the season. But now both teams playing like at I'll say full capacity, because both teams are pretty injured,
Yeah.
especially the Lions. Now the Vikings, I think, would be actually a pretty poor matchup for Tampa Bay, in my opinion. I don't think have they played. I don't believe that
I
they
don't
played.
believe so.
No, they didn't. I think that'd be a pretty
Yeah.
poor matchup for Tampa Bay
Yeah.
if Minnesota was the 5 seed, because I can see Sam Darnold throwing for 1,000 yards against this Tampa Bay secondary,
Yeah.
and that I think is going to be key. So they
Mhm.
still got to win this game. I'm not rooting for you all. However, I also have I like to think I'm somewhat smart. I was told I have an IQ of 85, which to me is a B. I'll take that. So I think that's pretty good. So I think that is. I think Tampa Bay is going to win this game and going to have a very fun first round in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I'm taking Tampa Bay too. I'm looking forward to them in the playoffs. And just to kind of wrap it up, like, sorry that your Falcons didn't make it. I do feel that the best team in the AFC South won the division and is moving on
I
to the
agree, and
playoffs.
I,
Yeah,
I I hope we make the right moves this offseason for the Falcons, because it's we have some clear weaknesses. It seems like we figured out the quarterback position, but we also said that too.
And the defensive line, that's a big thing.
Well, but when we start doing our offseason recap stuff, a lot of those guys are going to be free agents. We're borderline at the cap already. A lot of those guys are going to be 30. We drafted a bunch of guys on the D line anyways, so we're going to be relying on young talent again. And like Aurora has played well. Haven't really seen too much of Brandon Dorless. Braylon Trice tore his ACL in the preseason, so a lot of those picks still have a lot of work to do as well. And so
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, though, I mean, you go look at Tampa Bay's cap. Tampa Bay, 24 million as of right now, 14 million expected. They can make a couple of moves here to maybe clear up some space, but they got a decent bit. Like they've got their core group of guys. Like offensively, I think they got a lot of good young guys. Chris Godwin's probably going to not be re-signed just because of his price and also then the ankle injury. You've got Jalen McMillan to replace him. Defensively, probably going to go spend some time in the secondary, but you guys got a good front seven as well. And I need to go back and see who some of the free agents are. So it's going to be fun kind of breaking down the offseason. It'll be more fun if the Falcons are also playing at the same time. But you all disagree with me on that.
But so after that, go ahead, like, subscribe. We have a lot of off-season content coming up, including season recaps for all 32 teams, including the Buccaneers and the Saints. While you're down there, go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the New Orleans Saints? Will it be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And other than that, we will see you guys next time.